So when we open up our chart, it will give a list of materials, like so. And this lists everything you're going to need from fabric, threads, beads, specialty threads, etc. Today, however, we're only going to look at the fabric. So the fabric is our first listing here, and it says stitched on 32 count, raw linen, 2/2 from Zweigart. Well, what on earth does that mean? Let's have a little look. So 32 count, that's fabric count. That basically means how big your fabric's going to be, how big your finished piece is going to be, how big your stitches are going to be. We will talk about fabric count later. The second section is raw, a little bit confusing in this case because raw actually is relating to the colour. Our piece of fabric is a raw linen, so kind of an undyed linen, the colour that linen would be in its natural form. However, often you would see blue spruce or yellow or green or black or whatever. White, obviously, very common. So that's colour. You can choose to stitch on the recommended colour. You can choose to stitch on a colour of your own choosing. I would just recommend to stick somewhat close to the recommended because you don't want the colour of your actual stitched piece and the colour of your fabric to be too close, and then it all kind of blends into one. But you'll just use your common sense on that one. Linen is our fabric type. We're going to be talking about the different fabric types. 2/2 is how many threads we're stitching with, how many threads we're stitching over. That one is confusing, and that one, again, we are going to talk about in detail. And then the last one is Zweigart. It's just the brand. Choose whatever brand you wish. I personally use Zweigart. A lot of stitchers use Zweigart because they're very good quality fabrics. They're very reliable fabrics. They have a beautiful shade range. They're lovely to work with. They're not overly stiff. But again, choose whatever you want. That one doesn't really matter.